Hello, hello, welcome to the Imperfect Podcast, the podcast where we bring amazing people to talk about their imperfections. Hello, Terry. How are
Good
you?
morning. Thank you for having me today. Good. I'm
So
excited
excited.
and nervous.
No. I'm very excited. We've been talking about uh, this episode for a while, and I'm so happy and grateful that we managed finally to do it. How are you today? It's morning in the States. In Paris, it's already the afternoon. So how is the day going on in the States?
Just beginning, dropped off my 3 daughters to school, battled crazy traffic, and I'm happy to just be home and be here with you.
Amazing. I have a good feeling about this episode. So, I like to start with a very tough question. Very tough. Which is for you to describe yourself in the way you see fit, But before that, I'm going to introduce you in a few words. So Terry and I met a couple of months ago, no, maybe 1 year ago, almost, through a harmonic circle, which is a spiritual circle. To both of us are part of it. And we've evolved through this. We see each other from time to time, and I was very intrigued by you, Terry. I'm very happy to have you today. So please, now the floor is yours.
Thank you for those kind words. It's always hard to describe oneself. It's easier to describe others. I'm someone that definitely wants to live life to the fullest. I've had, just like you and others, many experiences that have humbled me. Or are we allowed to say bad words in the podcast? Have kicked
Of
my
course,
ass in
everything is
life.
allowed. It's imperfect.
Okay. Nobody under 10 might be listening, so we're good. And maybe you have an audience of all ages. Um, through different experiences, having near-death experiences, recently divorced, and being a reformed workaholic, having to really, as a small child, defend myself in certain situations where I felt my sister and I were in danger. There's just been so many things that have made me to who I am today. So I guess in a few words, it sounds very resilient, very brave, curious. I have a corporate part of me. I have this mystical part of me. I have the motherhood part of me. And I like to experience many things in life. So I think I'm more than just one thing. Like everybody, there's many parts of me that I'm just trying to balance every day, and just live life to the fullest. And I know my mission is to help others, to be others' biggest cheerleader, supporter, to help people find their inner answers, and to help people go deeper. Because I had to struggle my whole life with feelings. I've always been up here. So to really embody is something I've had to work really, really hard in this lifetime. So that's why I feel like I want to help others as well.
Terry, you seem to have really a lot of imperfections.
A million. I've mastered it.
Great, amazing. I like your how you described yourself. In fact, because you cut the you cut the shit. No, how do we say it? You cut the bullshit. No, how do you say it? Yeah,
Yeah, I like to be practical and cut the shit.
yeah.
Yes.
I like it. I like it. So, Terry, during this period of your life, what is the imperfection that you are struggling the most with?
Ah, yeah.
Part of you.
This point, this point in my life, it's trying to be comfortable with truly not knowing myself. And what I mean by that, it's that the unbecoming and the becoming at the same time. And to better explain that, when I was a small child, I could usually see things a day before, a week before, maybe 10 seconds before. I would tell my parents, hey, yeah, grandmother in Greek is going to pass soon, or so and so said this, or I heard that. And people always thought I was crazy. So my childhood was quite interesting. As an adult, when I used to do investigations or training, I could usually perceive things, and it kind of gave me a sense of comfort. Like you kind of know, like one day my daughter was about to spill the milk, and I had my hand out to catch the bottle before she dropped it. Like it's like I could just perceive things, but I realized that really wasn't really living. That was the worst possible way to live because I was always expecting. Like I knew my Christmas presents before I would open them, and I had to like act surprised in front of my parents. So on one hand, it was kind of interesting, but on the other hand, it kind of made for a boring life. There was no surprises. I put a lot of pressure for perfection on myself because it's like, well, if you kind of know something's going to happen, shouldn't you be prepared? Shouldn't you be ready? And so now I'm in a phase in my life and I look at the future, I don't see or perceive anything. When I go into a training class, I don't really prepare like I used to. I'm just going to wing it. Whatever happens, happens. I don't prepare for anything. And it scares the shit out of me because I'm not comfortable with that. Um, and so now that I'm in my 40s and I'm trying to decide what is my true passion? Like, how am I going to do this? I know now what it is actually, but how do I want to live my life differently? I had the dream house, I had the dream career, I had what looked like the dream marriage. And actually, as lovely as it wasn't really me. It's like I was living a life for everybody else except for myself. So now I'm trying to decide, what do I want the next half of my life to look like? Where do I want to live? How do I want to live? And some days I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I don't really recognize myself today. I don't know these different parts of me, but it's okay. Calma, just breathe. Every day I'm like, just breathe. And I'm trying to help my daughters with the same. They're in middle school, high school, elementary school. Like, I don't know what I don't know, and it's okay. Like, don't crap your pants. Just trust the day will be fine and just trust that things will happen as they're supposed to happen. So it's probably a longer answer than I should give, but it's just that's kind of what I'm feeling and perceiving every day.
It's very interesting. You use the word trust. I think I'm learning also to trust. I think at this period in this moment of our life at 40s, we rediscover what is trust because I think, like in my experience, I used to trust a lot when I was younger. Then I think with the life experiences, all the boxes that we get, the things, the disillusions, the imperfections and all that, I think we get to a point where we stop trusting. And now we're rediscovering trust in a different angle. And it's as if in my case, every morning I wake up and I say, I trust life. This is the mantra I've been repeating since 6 months. And sometimes it works, sometimes I forget it again. And it's a long process. Trust is a long process. But I also see in your case that you are completely changing your life. New job, a new personal life environment. How did you get there, and how did you manage to say to yourself, "Oh, I've had a perfect life," as you mentioned, but this is not what I want? How did you manage to have this awareness?
Well, unfortunately for me, because I'm a very stubborn Greek American woman, like very stubborn, it took me getting really sick and in the hospital, having 3 surgeries in 1 week, back in
Okay.
2018. Because I'm just stubborn as hell, so it took a lot. And the joke I tell people is I've been certified in change management for, I don't know, 15 years. And I think we teach that we have to get better at. Like people are like, change is so easy for you. And I'm like, no, that's why I teach it. No, it's not really. And so I just remember, without boring with all the details of the health scares, but just lying in this hospital bed in like crazy pain. I just had 3 surgeries over 4 days, intestines were twisted, and everybody around me is looking at me like it's a funeral. Like they're looking at me like I'm not going to make it. Nobody believes I'm going to make it. The doctor even looks, sad. And I remember lying there thinking, what the hell? Has everyone given up on me?
Mhm.
What? And I remember telling, so I don't get emotional, telling friends and family, either you smile or you get the hell out of this room. Either you're here to support me or you're not. Either way, I love you, but I need positivity. And my mantra, I like yours, I'm gonna need to write that down, is this will make for a good story one day. Like that's what I always tell myself. So whether it's something fun or something not so pleasant, this will make for a good story one day. So as I'm laying there, just trying to walk, trying to get healthier, just trying to figure out my next steps, I just remember feeling, wow, I'm so present for everybody else except for myself. I'm there for everybody. The career, workaholic, my kids up till midnight, making their gift baskets for school, whatever my husband at the time needed, who's a wonderful man. I was there for everybody except for myself. And it took some crazy health scares to see that. And then, so it took me actually like 7 years to start do some deep inner healing. I mean, I did everything. hypnosis, counseling, um, healer school, mystical mystery school. And I did all kinds of different modalities to get to the root of why aren't I feeling so fulfilled? Like what's missing? Like and it was like a classic textbook. I was looking for everything outside of myself, validation through others. I was taught at a young age, I'm not allowed to have joy. I have to put others people's joy first. A good person doesn't do X, Y, and Z. So it took me 7 years to get to the point of healing myself and waking up to myself and being like, who the hell am I living for? Like, what? Why am I killing myself? Like, what is this? So it basically was slowly getting back out of my head and into my body and starting to feel the discomfort that was in me, which probably caused my intestines to twist, 3 times in 1 week. Like after the surgery, they retwisted and had a blood clot. And because I was really just not at all present in myself. I was like here and everywhere else, but I wasn't here. So I wish I could say it was a quick and easy road, but it took a lot of like really going in and looking at every aspect of my life, friendship, career, health, spirituality. Um, yeah. And just knowing that I'm not living my purpose, I'm not living my passion, I wasn't being true to myself. And it's not and I would tell people it's a path where you lose a lot of friends. You you
Yeah.
your life really shifts. And it's scary, but also exhilarating at once.
Wow. When you say being here, I guess, in the body and in the heart, what do you mean and how can we get there? How can we get from here to here? Because I think a lot of us are a lot here because we are trained to be here. Je pense donc je suis. I think, therefore I am. This is how we were brought up, you know? And
Yes.
no, I feel, therefore I am. I would like to say. So how do we do it?
I actually do a small practice every morning, as you and I both do our morning sadhana, our morning, breath work and meditation time and grounding and goals. I literally every morning actually visualize like an infinity eight in my brain. I do this every morning before I get out of bed. It's just like I'm trying to connect my left and right hemispheres. And then I connect that to my heart. Like I'm literally just visualizing, connecting my heart to my mind. And I literally just sit there. And when I do my breath work, I actually literally put my hands on my body and I won't get out of bed until I can actually feel myself. Sometimes it might take 5 minutes. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes, but it's like a priority every day. It's like brushing my teeth. It's like, I have to feel myself. Um, and I've learned there's no judgment, it's whatever I feel, but it's like literally just like, okay, because I recognize that my body will recognize something, what do they say? 10 seconds, the heart coherence before the mind. But it's literally just doing little exercises like that with breath work. And I used to hate breath work. Like for a decade, I was like, I'm not doing it. Nope. Waste of time. And now some days I'll do it when I was going through real tough times, sometimes 30, 40 minutes a day. That was my morning. I would just do breath work and just feel my body. Because when I'm feeling my body, I'm feeling different emotions that I was like, oh, I didn't know that was in there. Oh, damn. Okay. I guess I am stressed and worried about that meeting today at 2 o'clock. Ooh, forgot to do that. Okay. Okay. And it taught me really self-compassion as well. I used to be the most critical, judgmental person of myself. I give everybody grace except for myself. So now that I'm in my body, it's almost like I'm thanking it for having patience with me the past 44 years. Thank you. Thank you for storing everything in my gut.
Yeah,
And my daughters laugh at me, but I'm like, are we doing it? Are you in your body? My 5-year-old, she's almost 6. I'm like, where are you? Stella, where are you? Oh, my energy's over there. Let's bring it back in. Can you bring it back in? Like she can recognize it, but 40-year-olds, we can't recognize it at times.
of course. Teddy, wow, what a journey! And even when you tell your story, I see so many different parts and different directions. And we were talking about it before we start this podcast. And I think this is an imperfection that we both have, which is doing so many things and at the same time, multitasking and this kind of stuff. How does it play in your life? Does this affect your life? And the trap, Terry, is that this makes our success because we can do so many things others can't. But at the same time, we know that it's bad for us. So how do you deal with that?
Well, actually, first I follow a Dominhurian principle, as you know, for those of you who followed Dominhur, Temples of Humankind. I read a quote by Falco where it was like, or someone told me a story where they'd asked him and said, Falco, I don't know. I'm so stressed. I don't know how to, there's too many things I have to get done. How do I manage it all? This Dalmahurian told me, he told them, just add one more thing to your plate. Just add one more thing. And I was like, that's an interesting point of view. And I kind of noticed as long as I'm adding more to my plate that I'm having fun or joyful or excites me, or maybe it's not fun or joyful, but I know it's of benefit to me, then it just the time appears. Like I can get a lot done in one day. But on the flip side, sometimes I do have to renounce something. Like if I am going to commit to, uh, you know, um, 7 Zoom calls and this and that, blah blah blah. Then what else? What is going to come off my plate? So it's like a balancing act, right? Of like, am I having joy? Is it fun? Because the more fun I have, the more I get done. Like it's crazy. It's like I think one day I did 11 readings in a row for people, and it was just fun. Like it felt like 5 minutes. 7 hours felt like 5 minutes. Now, should I do that every day? Probably not. I need to rest, refuel, ground. But yeah, it has to bring me joy. But then I have to balance it with something that does need to come off. And that's sometimes where it's, I think it's balancing both parts are masculine and feminine. And that's sounding like a cheesy speech. And that's not the intention. It's just, it is finding that balance within ourselves. And some days the balance is really off. I think that's why I have 3 daughters because they're like 3 mirrors. They'll tell me your time management sucks today, mom. I'm like, oh, thank you. Thanks for that feedback. And other days it just flows and it's being okay with that too. I perceive maybe you and I are okay with things not going as planned and being very flexible. I think that's a quality maybe that the more flexible we are, the more we can get done because I have to give up that things are going to get done in this way. I have to be okay with things to get done in this way and just, and sometimes going with the flow it's a lot of fun. Things come out actually a lot more fruitful and beneficial when we don't plan as much.
Terry, it's forbidden to talk about qualities. We're here to only talk about imperfections. Please don't don't do it again.
That is an imperfection to many.
Terry, we live in a world that praises perfection. We see it on TV, on social media. Everybody's perfect. We see only the bright side of things, blah, blah, blah. And then we're here with our imperfections, with our challenges, and we're like, oh, why everybody is perfect and I'm not? What do you do to keep yourself grounded in this perfection obsessed world?
That's like the best question ever. It's like I think I just don't even embrace it or think about it. So if I'm, for example, like did a recent training at work, how to fall back in love with your career, how to put energy into your career, and and I didn't prepare that much. I just knew it was going to naturally come. So one, I didn't want a perfect training. I didn't want it to feel or be perfect. So what I guess the answer I'm trying to say is I think deep honesty helps that. So I always share with people my mistakes, the ridiculous things I've done or said, or the worst training I had, or the worst investigation I had, or my worst parenting moment. And I share those because I think I want to go against that grain of perfection. I want to be authentic and silly and ridiculous and say and fumble on my words. Like I want to be human because I think those are the best environments where we connect with each other. So when I personally go to a training or hear a lecture or go to a seminar where the instructor has to be like perfectly timed and we have to have, it's like, I don't enjoy it anymore. In my 20s, maybe I thought that was cool. Now I'm like, this is kind of boring. So what people have said is they kind of like, not kind of like, they've enjoyed having either individual or one or group sessions whenever I'm working because it's like, it's not, I'm not going to say a mess. It's free flowing. It's not perfect. And I think that allows people to be more themselves. That allows people to be more vulnerable and more comfortable. And I also remind myself in a moment where I think I'm about to be critical, like, oh, damn, like, oh, man, I bombed that one. Or, God, the other day in the car, I probably shouldn't have flipped off the car behind me that tried to cut me off in front of my daughters. That probably wasn't a good role model. And I remind myself, what would I tell my best friend? what would I tell my best friend if they were beating themselves up? And the other day, my 12-year-old said she really wanted to beat herself up because she wasn't perfect at school. She wanted to have the best grade. They had a Socratic seminar and she was in tears. And then she says, and then mom, I remembered, what would I tell my best friend Maggie about that? Like, what would I tell my best friend? And I was like, oh
Beautiful.
wow, they do listen sometimes. Holy shit, that's a miracle. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think it's just, yeah, that's my mantra too is, I mean, and whose standards is that perfection anyways? Like, we all have different standards. So I just think it's such an interesting concept as somebody that strived for that their whole 20s and 30s. So I can speak to that.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same. Like I feel this shift inside of me between when you said about the seminars or conferences, everything is planned and everything is optimized and everything. I was like that, and now I'm more into going with the flow, and I can't be in this environment anymore. I don't see the value of it. So I relate to that. And on your point on the embracing our vulnerability, our imperfections, and embracing being ourselves. I made peace with that personally. It's important for me to make sure that everybody around me is happy, is content, is receives value from my presence, etc., etc. And I had some claps in my face because I gave a lot. I put myself out there. I was vulnerable, and that these people use this vulnerability against me in some ways. But I keep choosing to remain honest and remain and talk about vulnerability, not keep them for me. I'm working more and more on knowing when and who whom to trust, because sometimes we need to put some boundaries in that. And therefore, my question for you is, because you said that you do the same and you like this, how do you protect yourself sometimes also from the world, like the black wolf in other people also sometimes, while remaining true to yourself?
Oh, you have the best questions. I no longer put pressure on myself to meet their expectations. And early in my career, and earlier as a parent, and even in friendships, I would put so much pressure on myself to like, I have to give the best training. I have to give the best party. I have to do the best, back to perfection. And now it's like, no, I'm just going to put out there what I can, honestly, authentically. If it resonates, great. If you don't like me, if you don't connect with me, I wish you a lovely day. I still have the same love for you. Like, I mean, I used to pull all nighters. I used to be known to not sleep 2, 3 nights a week, preparing my trainings or preparing an investigation or, um, like getting the house like perfect for a party and cooking for 90 people and all this ridiculousness. And I finally was like, doesn't matter how much effort I do or don't put, people are going to have whatever experience they want to have. So why, especially like in the professional world, like, I mean, I would put so much pressure on myself, to the point where I would get sick. I mean, I was misdiagnosed actually in my late 20s with an autoimmune disease. I thought I had lupus. I couldn't walk. I had some crazy symptoms. And I didn't have lupus. I was just, not sleeping. I was working. I was just being neurotic, trying to please everybody. So I guess that black wolf, I mean, lovely to meet you and have a nice day. Like that's all and I just have to move on. Like either what I have to offer resonates, and if not, great. You're going to find someone else that resonates much better with you. And that's what I wish for people, to connect with the right people they're supposed to connect with.
Yeah.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. And maybe they're not for me as well.
And Terry, what did you have to let go of to be the person you are today?
Uh, 90% of childhood conditioning. That's my smart ass answer. Um, let me go deeper.
How did you do it? I want to.
I had to become my best friend. I had to fall back in love with myself. And this is where I'll get emotional. I had to, like, again, feel and like, what do I think? What do I want to do? And not from like this, like, it's all me, but it's like I had to just stop and just like, yeah, what do I think? What do I feel? What's my take on this? Because I was always putting everybody else's wants and needs and feelings first, which I think we should always, that's, we live with and through others. But I was like, if I'm not going to go to the depths of myself, if I'm not going to look at the parts of me that don't want to be seen, then how am I going to help others do that? Like, how inauthentic am I? How am I going to help have an impact if I haven't done my own inner work? If I haven't maybe gone to hypnosis and said, okay, what am I hiding? What's lurking back there? Or when I did, I'm just going to be finishing my 5th year of healer school in Dominer, the spiritual healer school, where you had to go really deep. Like, where was my inner child wounded? Oh, oops. When I was 10 years old, my favorite teacher told me I was not intelligent and I was stupid and I would never be as smart as her son and stop trying. And I was devastated. And actually, that's when I stopped feeling. I told my father, Baba, today in Greek school. So the teacher told me this. And I was like, I couldn't speak. And he's like, what's going on? And I told him, and he started crying. Like my dad was like, he lost it. And then I was like, I can't cry. He's sad. I'm not, and I stopped feeling. I think I disassociated with my body when I was 10 years old. And from that point, it's like I had to pinpoint this one event 30 years later uh, that like which was completely holding me back. So sometimes it just takes that one instance, that one thing you remember and you heal it. And the crazy thing is I had like did this like breath work meditation. I was like, I'm just gonna like go back in time, hug that version of me and say, you are intelligent. You're like, I love you. And I looked at and I did this with a counselor later too. I did like my own version of it. Then I went to the counselor and said, can you help me? I've got to heal this childhood memory. It's heavy and it hurts. And we did a couple sessions on it. And like 2 months after the session, I run into this woman at church one day. And she comes up to me and I mean, she's like, Terri, I just wanted to say, and she recently lost her son and she had a lot going on. And I just want to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry when you were little, wasn't so kind to you. And I just want to say, wow, I see you as a mother. I see you doing things, helping people. I don't see you often. No, you don't really, that church isn't really my community more, but I try to go when I can for my children to keep them in the culture. She's like, I just want to say, I think you're a lovely person. Can I hug you? And I said, of course. And we hugged and it was like the most healing moment. And that's what freed me. It was like finding this one instant in my childhood, making peace with it and moving forward. So,
Beautiful. Wow, you attracted it to to yourself. You know, when we heal, we attract positive the things, and we made them happen. We are so strong in our minds, and this is the crazy part, Terry. You know, we live today at 44 because I'm also 44. We live based on programs that a 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 years old child decided based on an external thing, and they said to myself, okay, for me not to live this anymore, I will have to think this, or I have to do that, and then we keep doing it for 40 years. We don't see all the destruction that this is bringing to our life. And we keep doing it and like, oh, why is this happening to me? I don't know what's. And then it's crazy. It's a foolish life, you know? Uh, why? Why don't we come with a, like we need to erase everything and then restart at some point? I don't know, you know? Wow.
what you say just touched me. And my voice is getting hoarse because as soon as I heal something within myself, as soon as I'm like, wow, I need to have stronger boundary, or wow, I was a little critical with myself yesterday. Like it's so as long as I'm honest with myself and I cut the shit with myself, like I'm just honest with myself. And I feel like I conquered something, even though it's something tiny. It's like within 48 or 72 hours, I see it in one of my daughters. It's like it's
Yeah.
like, oh my God. So it's like as far as we go, it's like there's their starting point. And then it's like, and it's these little micro moments that I'm like, oh my God, she wasn't critical of herself, or wow, she did this or said that. Like, and it's just like, oh, and that's when I'm like, oh, all the all the books, all the breath work, all the
Yeah.
meditation. And it's just, I think it's our responsibility as humans to never stop growing. And I just think that's our responsibility with humanity. We have to talk about the world in the news. It's an interesting world and we're evolving and changing. But I just think that's my responsibility, whether it's professionally, personally, spiritually. If we're not growing, then I don't know why we're here, why we exist. And my that's why I'm here.
That's why what I truly believe in also, like keep, and this is what made me who I am today, like my willingness to grow from each experience, even the most difficult ones, to just, okay, grieve it, but then ask myself, and this is how I created the luck coach, because I'm the luck coach. I help people become lucky. And my definition of luck is, how do we react to external circumstances that are outside of our control? If something bad happened to us, we can cry and lament and say, why is happening to me? And no, 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 why me? I didn't deserve it, blah, blah. Or I can grieve it. And then at some point I say, okay, how can I grow from this experience? This is how we create our own luck, because at the end of the day, for me, luck is not something that comes to us from the sky. It's something that we build, that we create through this mentality, this mindset. Terry,
That's so well said.
yeah.
Yeah, we have to feel it to heal it. That's probably my other mantra. Feel it to heal it. Because if I don't feel it and heal it, then I get stuck in my body. And that doesn't feel so good.
And repeat, because like the number of times I say to myself, I need to love I want and I love myself. I need to be self-compassionate and self-love and all that. And then I forget, and then I remember, and then I forget, and then I remember, and then, like it's a spiral, it's not linear, like we keep going, but we evolve with it, like there is a certain evolution. It's so deep.
What, and it's been like support.
Terry, I'm not hearing you well. Something happened.
Hear me now?
Yes, yes.
I was just gonna say, I started a new routine and we'll see if it lasts. When I kiss my daughters goodnight to bed, that nighttime, the snuggles and goodnight, and it's either the nicest or longest part of the day, depending on the night. I actually do it to myself now. I actually try to tell myself every day I love you before I go to bed or when I wake up.
Awesome.
And at first I'm like, this is kind of cheesy and silly. But I was like, well, if I do it to them, I need to do it to myself, or else it's not going to feel sincere. So I do try to tell myself every day.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Terry, I'm more and more conscious of the pressure I put on myself, me. And several times when I'm in a difficult situation, the solution is not to change the external situation. It's to just shift or strengthen myself internally and bring some clarity, internal clarity, and self-love, to just change perspective. And this is crazy, because at the end of the day, our mind can control anything and can create any reality that we want in this life, but we keep on repeating a reality that is not working for us. Then why is happening to me? It's not, like we're crazy, like I remember the definition of craziness. The definitions of craziness is keep doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. But we're all doing this.
Channeled out for somebody once in a session. He's like, why do I keep having all these things happening to me? Like me, me, me. And normally I like to help people find their inner answers. But this one day I was like, I mean, we've been here 45 minutes. We got to turn this bus around. And I just said, well, maybe you keep choosing it. He's never come back for another session. That's okay.
Yeah,
We're
because
not meant to work with each other.
exactly, if they don't want to own their own growth, we cannot help, like yeah. Terry, if I meet you in a heaven environment, I don't know if it's the sea or mountain for you. I think the sea, because you are from Greek origins. No, it's the sea, no, or the mountain, the sea. So sandy beach, the sun, turquoise water, the birds, the smell of the sea breeze, and the noise of the waves on the shore. And then I meet you. Who would I meet?
It depends on the time of day. I think it's like a clock. We change every 2 hours. You would meet somebody really curious about you. I'd ask a lot of questions about you, your family. I would be incredibly open book, and I probably would share. I would ask you to sit with me and to join me in whatever I'm eating or reading. I'm just a very like welcoming, opening, inviting person. I would just want to sit and connect with you and learn about you. And I'd love to hear people's stories. And I love talking to people, whether I know them or strangers. I probably would be silly and cheesy and goofy. and maybe say something inappropriate, maybe a bad word here and there. Um, but I would be really authentic and just want to learn about you and your story. I'd
What
be a
about you,
quiet Gemini and I would just listen to you.
Tori? Who would I meet in terms of Terry? Who would be the Terry that I would meet? When there is
Oh,
no conditioning.
she'd be a little bit of a badass. She's
Tell me more. Now this is
strong.
perfect.
She's very strong. Those are another story for another day of how many people I've had to take down. Not proud of it, but sometimes you have to do things. Very strong, very resilient, very open-minded, very curious, uh, loving, and a lot of humor, a lot of jokes. You would meet somebody, you would meet me and think, "Wow, that's an interesting person. I
Mm.
don't meet those people every day."
Terry, the crazy final question, which is usually a very dangerous one. Are you ready? You need water. Yeah.
I'm never ready. Let's do it.
Can you tell us one thing that no one or very few people know about you?
I share so much of myself all the time, so I have to see, I have to put my hands on me, I have to think of feel that. S some some people might know this or very few. My heart really hurts. It's just like it's so painful when I watch people attacking each other, especially women hurting women, not supporting each other. And I don't really articulate it often because usually, um, in the settings I'm in, I'm more of the observer, facilitator. It just depends on the role I'm in. But I usually have my mask is that I'm always trying to find the best in things. I'm always trying to stay positive and upbeat. But my insides will be shaking and hurting. Like if I'm in the grocery store and I just see people or especially children, people like we all lose our temper. I mean, we're all humans, but when I just see like somebody, well, I'll rephrase this. So you have to do some editing here for sure. I when I used to work a little bit more in politics or with politicians, and I would see the way they would treat each other. So this is my answer. When I was a little girl, I always looked up to leaders. I just always thought, wow, to be a leader, you have to really know yourself, be honorable, put others first. And then I worked in local government and I would cry myself to sleep a lot because I would see leaders bash each other and say just the most like the things that would come out of their mouth. And I would pause. Sometimes I couldn't I couldn't train. I just would, because it's like my heart was hurting so bad. I just didn't want to cry in front of the people. It was so painful. So what people probably don't realize about me is I've always had like the highest standards or point of view or opinion of people. And I've had to learn that people are allowed to be who they want to be and to stop. I don't know. It's really hard to put in words. I'm really struggling, but it was just always idolizing leaders and realizing that people are who they are. There's no perfect
Do you
person.
do it with other people in your life or specifically leaders idealizing,
Sure, I think as a child, I think adults, I think a leader's anybody who's in charge or running the show, the teacher, the elected official, the parent pushing the stroller. It's like when I see people hurting other people, it's like my body hurts and I have to like really breathe it out or I can't sleep at night. I just have to really like let it go. And that's something I'm always working on healing. It gets better with time. Um, or just seeing women attack each other, like women competing with each other is when my insides just, it hurts. I'm sure if it was two men, I would care as well. I'm just using it. So when I did workplace investigations, it was 99% of the time women really hurting each other. Like, so I wish I could give you some deep esoteric answer, but it's just like the past 20 years, that's when I was like, my heart would just hurt. And it's like, wow, why aren't we helping each other? Like everybody, as you and I know, everyone's has some life challenge. Aging parent, maybe they can't make rent. Like everybody's got something. And when I see people just being so horrible to each other, the first thing I think of is what must be hard to be that person. Imagine their inner world. And then I see people constantly doing it to each other, and it's just like, wow.
Yeah,
So that's why I don't do workplace investigations anymore. It was too hard on my heart.
yeah, and I understand you in a way because I also believe that people are good by nature, and it kills me to see people fight and this kind of stuff, and wars and this kind of stuff. But then what helps me is that I remind myself that this is human nature. And if you look back at the history, there had always been conflict, there had always been people fighting each other. And this is our nature. This is a human nature. We cannot change it. This is how history was built. And even though they teach us romantically the history in the school and university, and this was, and it's always the winner that writes the history, you know, and it's poetic, and you know now the good against the bad, but in reality, this conflict, this fighting each other, this competition has always fueled humanity. So we cannot, it's part of us. We cannot change it. We cannot be all helping each other. And, you know, like, although I would love to do it, and it's possible. I believe it's possible. And there are some experiments that show it's possible. But we still didn't get there.
And maybe that's why what motivates and pushes me is we have to first come in balance with our inner selves. We all have inner conflict, all our different parts of ourselves. And maybe that's, so to answer you, maybe what I've never told anybody, the heart of what I do is because I'm always trying to heal and harmonize my insides. I'm always trying to balance my inner parts. There's so many of me that want to be heard and spoken. Maybe that's why I do what I do, because I want to help people harmonize their insides. So people
Yeah.
stop being at war with each other, stop hurting themselves. So that's my answer. Seeing people hurt themselves and each other is, and that's a very basic answer, but yeah, maybe it's because I have a daughter in middle school and I hear about the girl drama every day. And I try, my eyes are like watering and I try to just listen.
Mm.
And my insides are like shaking. I'm like, oh, oh,
Very.
wow. Okay. And I try so hard to stay calm, but my insides, I just, oh, oh, they told you you're not intelligent and ugly at lunch today. Oh, okay. How did you respond to that? And I try to be
Yeah.
really calm, but that's when my insides. So after I put the kids to bed, I have to let out a few tears because I'm like, wow, wow, I really feel for that girl that said that to the other girl. Like, wow, what's she going through right now? What trauma does she have?
True,
So
true, true. Terry, I think this episode is like us all over the place. Usually I like to finish with, you know, recap. And now I don't know where to start because we spoke of so many things, you know, without any structure, but I will still try, you know, because this is my signature offer, you know. Let me try, but please help me if I can't.
and I said more words than I ever want to say. I like to be less words and concise, but not today. You somehow got all the words out of me, which is, you must be a magician because normally I don't share. I try to, I,
I am a magician, and I felt this connection. I felt this connection, and I was very happy to hear what you had to say. So thank you for your generosity. So Terry,
thank you for the opportunity and your time.
thank you. But let's try to recap before we conclude. So you started by defining yourself in a very
Focus.
beautiful way, Terry. Huh? You defined yourself as being a mom of three girls. You defined yourself with also all the challenges that you had to overcome, from near-death experience to divorce to workaholic, getting out of your workaholic things. And you said that what you like, your mission in life is to uh, bring harmony, but also awareness and harmony to the world in which we live. You spoke also about later on, but I'll put it here, about your belief in having in the growth of everyone. Like, if our mission in this world is to grow from our experiences and to keep working on ourselves non-stop, we don't stop. Then I asked you about your imperfection, and you spoke about this tendency that you have today between two flows. One flow, which is you perceive and feel things and before even they arrive, and this very quickly had become an obstacle for you because you were not living the moment, you were living before the moment, and you were expecting everything. But then also your decision at some point to say, I'm gonna stop, and I'm gonna enjoy, and I'm gonna channel, and I'm gonna just live the moment, and I don't expect anything about the future. And this is the philosophy you are working with right now. Then you spoke about, we spoke about, do we speak about? It was in my mind and then I forgot it. Um,
falling back in love with yourself, trusting
No,
yourself,
before
perhaps?
that, you told me, okay. Then you spoke about how you came from your mind to your body and your heart. And this is a journey that at some point, in 2018, it started coming to you. And then when you were beyond 40, you started to say to yourself, I'm going to move from the mind to the body and the heart. And the journey started there. How did it start? And how did this declic happen? Because you are very resilient and you want things to happen, perseverant. It came out in a very bad health situation where you were in the hospital doing 3 um, operations in 1 week, seeing everybody around you saying, oh, we lost hope, and you saying to people, if you want to stay, you stay, and you give me positive energy. And this is how you started to see that the life, although the life that you were living seemed to be perfect, but this was not the life that you wanted for yourself. And this is where you started your journey to become closer and closer to the real Terry, to who you really are. And the journey started with giving yourself more self-love, asking yourself every time you have expectations from yourself, or you are not criticizing yourself, what would you say to your friend? And this question change a lot of things in you, and you hear it also in your daughters, and this brings a lot of joy to yourself. So loving yourself more, asking yourself the right question, what is most important for me? This allowed you to go a step further in your life and to get closer to the Terry that you are today. Uh, when we spoke about the world, the perfect world in which we live and the pressure of being perfect, you said that you don't even see that. You don't want to be perfect anymore. You just want to go with the flow. You don't want to over prepare things. You just want to live the moment. And you discovered capabilities in you that you were not aware of before, that because you were over preparing. So these capabilities were not even being able to express themselves. So you discovered, and you are in a moment and in a place where you can be ready without even preparing, and that's a blessing. Who would I meet if I met you in heaven? I would meet a very perseverant, very resilient person, very that is very lively, that gets a lot of interest in the others, that will ask them questions, will be interested in their lives, very open. And what did you have to let go of to become the person that you are today? I think that you had what you said you had to let go was all the programs, 90% of the program that you had when you were a child. And we all have these programs that a child of 3, 4, 5, 6 years old construct, and then we live our life with that, and we don't get rid of them. So you have done the work to let go of these programs, and this is great, because you're giving this also to your daughters, who are getting rid of the program that are constructing as we speak. I think that's it. One last thing about what is the thing that no one knows about you, or very few people know about you, is that you don't like to see people fighting each other, especially women fighting each other and leaders fighting each other. And you had this vision that all the leaders, political leaders, for example, are here to do good, to bring peace and all that. And you discovered that this is not at all the case. And I think Epstein files now show us even worse part of our leaders. But also in a daily life, people are fighting each other, and you want to come to in your lifetime to serve as a person to touch the beauty and the goodness in everyone, and you believe in a world where everybody can do good to the other. What do you think? Not bad.
I think that's beautiful. And I would just add, I know there are wonderful leaders out there, and there's wonderful people, and there's caring people. We just happen to get hyper focused on that one. And
Because
I
we
would just
are,
say the number one program in conclusion that I had to let go of was that we are all allowed and entitled to have joy. Instead of always putting other joy first, that was the number one program too, is like, I'm allowed to have joy as well. Whereas if you're always out there not allowing yourself, because you're a perfect person, always puts the joy of others first and themselves last, that doesn't work so well, because then you can't really be your authentic self to help others. So that's probably was the biggest program too, was, oh, I'm allowed to have fun, I'm allowed to have joy. Oh, what's that? So
Listen, Terry, I had
Thank
so
you.
much fun, so much joy recording this episode with you. It was really a beautiful moment. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your trust. And guys, please, the Imperfect Podcast, follow. We are on Instagram, we are on Spotify, we are on YouTube, we are on Apple Podcast. Follow us, share, like, talk about us. If you'd like to be also part of our guests, please get in touch with us. And thank you. Ciao.
Thank you.